It is a moment's experience, that's all. All our so-called knowing is only creating a space inside us towards fully knowing. But ultimately, in the deeper sense, either we know or we don't know. But when we know more and more, we become clear that we don't know. That is enough. That will motivate us to really knowing. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is the yoga of Arjuna's grief, Arjuna talks throughout and Krishna remains silent. It is only when Arjuna finally surrenders, saying, I know nothing, that he is at last ready to receive Krishna's message. Although Krishna and Arjuna were friends and childhood playmates, though there might have been hundreds of other more relaxed situations, the Bhagavad Gita was not delivered to Arjuna any time earlier. Why? Because until then, Arjuna was not ripe to receive the Gita. It is only when he utters the words, I don't know, that he becomes qualified to know. The basic condition for spiritual progress is to know very clearly that you don't know. This is the first step towards really knowing. Yes, any questions? Let me tell you, please feel free to ask questions. This is not going to be a sermon from my side. So please be interactive and ask questions, or rather express your confusion, and I will try to bring in clarity. One more thing, when you ask questions, I can be assured that you have not gone to sleep. A small story. A bus driver and a great preacher died and reached Lord Yamadharma's court, the court of the Lord of Death. First, the bus driver was questioned about all his deeds in his lifetime. His records were verified. Then, he was given a golden key and a staff and sent to a luxury room. The preacher was waiting for his turn and watching all this. He thought to himself, if the bus driver himself was given a golden key and other luxurious things, then surely I will get something much more than that. After all, he had preached about God all his life. His turn came and his records were presented. The verdict was pronounced. He was sent to hell. He became very angry. He could not believe the verdict. He demanded to know the reason. Lord Yama explained, we don't bother about what you have done in your lifetime. We only see the results of your actions. When the bus driver was driving, his driving was such that the people in his bus were continuously thinking of God. Whereas when you were preaching, although you spoke about God, the people who were with you were sleeping most of the time. So please be present and alert here, if not for your sake, for my sake, so that I may be received properly at the court of Lord Yama. Ask questions and make things clear for yourself and for others. Only if you ask questions, things can be worked out in a more practical way, in a way more adaptable to your life. Some of you may think that you may look like a fool if you ask some of your questions. I tell you, if you ask questions, you will only look like a fool. If you don't ask questions, you will remain a fool. So if there is any concept that you don't agree with, please raise your hand and clarify. Yes? Swamiji, we are looking to destroy all our negativities and be reborn as a new person in the next few days. Understand, there can be no destruction on planet Earth. There is always only transformation. All your so-called negative emotions can be transformed into positive emotions like pure love and awareness. Society always teaches you to divide and destroy yourself. It never teaches you to become integrated. It places a wedge inside you, between you and you, so that it can take control of you. It always talks to you in the language of lower and higher. That is why you suffer so much. It makes you think that you are inferior. It makes you fight with yourself. Society can rule you only if you feel chaotic inside yourself. It first makes you feel that you are no good and then comes up with remedies for it. That is why you start talking in this kind of language. A small story. A man was suffering from a common cold. He visited the doctor and asked for medicine. It was just an ordinary cold, and the doctor looked at him for a while and said, "Why don't you do something? Just go out for some time in the night and get the chill wind to touch you for a while. Then come back." The patient was shocked. He said, "But doctor, I will catch pneumonia if I do that." The doctor said, "Yes, I can cure pneumonia in no time." Society makes you become something and then teaches you ways to come out of it. Now I tell you, there is no higher or lower. There is only transformation. When you learn to look in with awareness, automatically you will be transformed. This is always the Master's approach. He teaches you to look in. He never divides you. He always integrates you. He never tells you that you are negative. There is no negative. What you call as negative and positive are just the two extremes of the same spectrum. Negative is not any physical entity for you to throw out. If you transform, you move in the spectrum towards higher positive energies. That's all. As I said earlier, this transformation is possible if you are just open and receptive to what is happening here. Yes? Swamiji, we have read in many books that our mind is nothing but Maya or illusion, and that all our questions are only an illusion. Please, can you tell us something about this? The famous question about Maya asked one more time. See, the first thing, don't confuse yourself with complicated reading. Second thing, understand very clearly there is nothing to be understood with the mind. The mystery of life cannot be solved with your mind. You cannot know the purpose of your life with your mind. That is why they say that your mind is an illusion. And the first step to solving the mystery of our life is dropping your mind. If you allow your mind to play, you will continue to play. That's all. Life after life you will play. Your deep inner thirst will remain unquenched. Probably your seeker ego will get fulfilled, but that is of no use. You become only more confused deep inside you. Try to move your center of operation from your mind to your heart or being. If you operate with your mind as the center, questions and more questions will follow. With questions, you cannot know. Only with awareness, you can know. If you operate with your heart, awareness and understanding will happen in you, and then automatically your questions will start dissolving. Like how when the sun rises, the darkness simply disappears. When awareness happens in you, understanding will happen and your questions will dissolve. You will start understanding things even before you come to the question. And like that, the questions will dissolve. It is difficult to understand this, but once you get an experience of it, you will know exactly what I mean by awareness. Questions will disappear and understanding will continuously engulf you. If you understand this much,